Hi, this is Mark from Skywagons. Wow. We're going to be talking today at Skywagon University about a Turbo 206, a particular plane. This one, it just shows, it's an example of what you can do. If you don't buy a new Lycoming powered plane, you can do this to an old one. So this is a 74-206, given away by the N number, 74-206. And I'm just going to walk around it and show you all the mods and upgrades you can do to an old airframe to make it into as good as a new airframe. So out here on the wings, this plane has 3 stall kits. So the factory wing ends here. This last 18 inches is a WingX stall, or an ART wingtip extension. It gives you 18 more inches. It's not a fuel tank, it just gives you more length. So it's nearly 40 feet. It's 39.5 feet, so you've got to be careful if you own a 40-foot wide hangar. So that's a stall kit, just more wing, more lift. The other thing that does is in cruise at altitude, because this is a turbo, instead of ploughing along very high, because there's more wing, it'll fly level, so you'll get a little bit more speed out of it. So it's more lift and a bit more speed at altitude. It's got RMD wingtip. No, it's not. These are quasar wingtips, LED wingtips, LED strobe lights on the end. It's got a Sportsman stall kit on it. And that's significant. If you haven't seen one before, you can see the difference. My finger is on the old wing. So the Sportsman's out here. So it sticks out this far. So it's about 2 inches further forward by 40 feet long. And when you buy the Sportsman and you tell Sportsman that you've got ART wingtips, they'll send you the ART extension to go on it to match the profile of the Sportsman. But if you've already got the ART on it, you just get the extra piece and you put it on. So you've got Sportsman cuff, and then on top you've got Microdynamics Vortex generators. The little teeth, they're on the top of the wings, they're up the side of the vertical fin on the tail, they're underneath the horizontal. That's to keep the boundary layer close to the top of the wing at low airspeed so that it delays the stall so you can land more slowly. So 3 stall kits on one plane. And then under here, we've got flap gap seals. It closes up the flap gap. Good for cruise. If you've got your flaps down, it does limit the airflow over the Fowler flap a little bit. So like if you were always off airport and always flying slowly, you probably wouldn't put those on it because they're going to not make the Fowler flap the way it's designed to work. On sticking to this wing, 2 Pitot tubes. Whoa, what is that about? This is the normal Pitot tube. This one is the angle of attack indicator, and it's a Garmin product. It's right there on the dash. So it's picking up angle of attack and putting on lights so that you don't vary. You can fly an airspeed or you can fly an angle of attack. Wheel pans. These aren't the factory wheel pans. These are, you can see this screw line over the top. You take the screws out and the outer half comes off and you can change the wheel and the tire and the brakes and you leave the inner part on. These are not 2U speed wheel pans. They're a bit closer fitting. There's a fairing over the brake caliper here which is all aerodynamic, so it's reducing drag. So it's like a nice speed mod. It's funny because it's got a stall kit on the wing to slow it down and a speed kit on the wheel pans to speed it up. But at both ends of the cruise you might need both. This plane also comes with 29-inch Alaska bush wheels, this big, so you could take all 3 off and put on the huge, Alaska bush wheels, because it's got the heavy brakes and it's got 2 options on it. So that's a nice feature. It's got strut cuff fairings at both ends of the wings, more modern. Just making a plane look more modern, it doesn't look like a 74-206, it looks more like a sort of 2000 and something. So a nice modern paint job will upgrade them hugely. Shadowed end numbers. This is the oxygen refill port. This is the pitot pickup for the altitude hold on the autopilot. It's got rubber leading edges on its horizontal stabilizer. They're not de-ice boots, they're just abrasion boots in case you land. If you land on gravel with the big tires and it throws rocks back here, it's just something to hit rather than your paint. And then if you look under there, I'll go around the back, lift the elevator. Here are the VGs that are underneath. They're on the bottom of a tail of the elevator of the horizontal, because that's where the lift is. It's reversed to the wings. And then up the vertical fin, up here, this all keeps the airflow against the control surfaces. Nice modern LED tail beacon on there, not a bulb, with a wasp in it. Same up there. And then if you just look generally at the airframe, you can see small raised gas caps on it. They're not the flush caps. And then of course it's a 206, so you get the double doors. Modern locks. Imagine a lock you can unlock with a real key and not anybody else's key. There's only about 7 keys that open all the Cessnas. Double doors, same general configuration, but this is the same airframe as a late model 206. The only difference between these and the new ones is Lycoming versus Continental. Look at that interior. Spend a bit of money on an interior and you can make like a modern late model 206 type interior in an earlier plane. This has got side bolsters on the seats, it's all leather. This has USB inputs for power, and it's got like the intercom is back here, shoulder harnesses, oxygen ports, inertia reel belts in the front. Just really well appointed. So you spend a bit of money on an older plane, because their airframes are so similar to the newer planes, you end up with a newer plane. Now this is the expensive part, to make an old plane like a new plane. The new planes come with this stuff. This has been added, of course. The lower panel's been changed. It's got dual avionics options. It's got dual 12-volt circuit switches on it. It's got every kind of Garmin in it. There's a 500, there's a 750, there's a JPI 930. That instrument replaces all the engine management, manifold pressure, RPM, TAC, EGT, CHT, fuel flow, turbo inlet temp, everything on one gauge. That's a primary flight instrument. There's no like backup to a fuel gauge. That is the fuel gauge. Everything's on there. There's a Garmin G5. This is the angle of attack indicator. There's a vertical card compass up there. But look at that panel. You think you're looking at like a 2005. So that's the big money. I mean, it's a blank check there. There's 100 grand in that panel. So under the cowling, I've already loosened it. We'll pop the lid off without chipping or scratching it. It's even painted under the cowling. I mean, when you make them new, you make them new. Put it down very carefully there. So the only thing that makes this not a new plane is this is a Continental. This has been upgraded from the 285 horsepower, 1400 hour TBO TSIO 520C that would be in the pre-77 206s, and this is a 74, so it would have had that. But this has been upgraded to the TSIO 520M6 that is in the 77 and newer turbo 206s. So its TBO is up from 1400 to 1600 hours, and it's 310 horsepower, not 285 horsepower. So that's a major deal. It's a Ram STC, and there's a thing down here which I think you can see on the camera. This exhaust pipe is cut off right there. You can see that blank end on that muffler. There would be two pipes on one side and 4 on the other, and a crossover tube. So that tube goes round the back underneath everything to the other side for the turbo. This is the Knisley exhaust. It eliminates that because you don't want a red hot piece of exhaust directly below all your fuel system. So that's about 3.5 grand's worth of exhaust upgrades. That's a nice feature to have on the plane. And then generally under the cowling, you can see that it's been very well put together, and the baffling is all in good shape. It's a heavy case, bumpy backed engine. It's got an engine heater on it. I mean, just all in all, very nice under the cowling. So like very modern. And while we're up front, this is more of that speed kit. The other wheel, the other nose wheel that comes with this plane is a air glass Landis fork with a giant 850 in it, and obviously no speed pant. This is part of a speed kit. This is part of the speed kit. It's all part of the same speed kit as on the main wheel pants. So that's something for like going cross country. But if you want to go off airport and go to Alaska, you put the big stuff on. So I mean, that's really what you can do to an older plane to make it new. The big thing about doing this is A, it doesn't cost what a new one costs. B, the useful load on this plane is just under 1,500 pounds. And on the new planes, because of everything that's in them, they still have the gross weight of 3,600 pounds, but they have more things in them, so their useful loads are about 1,100 pounds. So this plane can carry like 250 more pounds than a new one that costs twice as much as it. So just a quick video to show what you can do with an old plane if you're prepared to throw some money at them. I mean, this is from 1974. I was 9 when this was built. So automatic door closing even. So this is Mark from Skywagon University. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, click on the subscribe button and the little bell, you'll get notifications. And we'll be back soon to do some more videos.